Welcome to the Nobody Knows podcast with Callie Zamzo. Join us for conversations with local changemakers and hear the stories that don't always get told. It'll be honest, messy and beautiful, touching and humorous. Slow down, pour a glass, and pull up a chair. This is the Nobody Knows podcast.
Welcome to Nobody Knows. I'm your host, Callie Zamzo. And this podcast today was actually scheduled for a couple of weeks ago, but instead I was surprised with my daughter, if you all have listened to that episode. And so I feel very, very prepared for this conversation. And I want to start off by telling a little story. When my husband and I'm going to say, when my husband was courting me, he decided that we were actually, I think we were down at Alive After 5. And we had been kind of walking around. It was a little too noisy, and we were trying to get to know each other. And he was like, "Hey, let's take a walk to Whole Foods, and we'll get a kombucha. Have you ever had kombucha before?" And he said it was such authority, and I had heard of it. I just went with it. I was like, "Oh yeah, I love kombucha." Then we got to Whole Foods, and we get to the section, and he points out the one that he likes, and I was like, "Well, yeah, I'll go with that one." And I pick it up and I immediately begin shaking it because there was stuff at the bottom. And he gently took it out of my hand and he said, "I'm not going to tell you how to run your business, but we're going to put this one back and I'm going to get you another one and you probably don't want to shake it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But totally obviously revealed the fact that I didn't know what I was doing and that I was, pretending. That being said, he is an enormous and has been an enormous consumer of kombucha. And I very quickly realized that, hey, we can make this stuff. So my first gift to him was a book on how to make kombucha. And my husband was like, "I'm not making this. I'm not going to do this, right?" And I was like, "All right." So it really ended up being my book. It's now my kombucha Bible. And I've been making kombucha now for, I guess we're married almost 9 years. So it's been the better part of 10 years that I've been doing this. So I'm an enormous fan of kombucha. I love what it does for my body. I love the flavor of it now. We can talk a little bit about this as we get going, but I'm just an enormous fan. And so now I get to have somebody in my studio here who actually knows what she's doing. So I couldn't be more thrilled on a personal level to learn about this. So please welcome into the studio, Katie Powell. She's the founder of Boise Booch, which is the first hard kombucha brewery in Idaho. So we'll talk about that. Katie's story is equal parts science, soul, and sheer guts. So I'm excited to hear about all of this. She did some fermentation experiments. We're going to talk about all of that. And then she has this brand new taproom that I'm very curious about as well. So welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how, I loved having my daughter in the studio. That was amazing. But there was a point of wait, but I was going to have this conversation. So it's probably good. I had to take a little pause and but that's okay. I'm glad to have you in the studio and I'm glad that we get to have this conversation.
I'm glad to finally be here. I loved that story, by the way.
Yeah?
That's cute.
The one about my husband and I?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And if you're not a kombucha consumer, let me give you the decoder ring on that one. You shake up kombucha. Then when you go to open the bottle, it's very effervescent and it can then spew all over you, which by the way happened one time. We had a new kombucha that we were trying and we were in the car and my husband was driving and he opened, you kind of crack it and then you wait a second and then you open a little more and then maybe shut it. There's this whole process to opening it if it's very carbonated that you have to be very careful with, and he's exploded them in the car himself and it happens.
Yeah. I had that happen to me in class one day. So that was fun.
Wow.
Yeah. Kombucha all over my desk. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, before we get going too far, will you just kind of tell us a little bit about you, your history, what makes you tick and how you kind of got into all of this?
Oh man. So I've kind of done a lot of things. I guess what I live for now, besides Boise Booch, is my family. I have 2 little boys, 5 and 8. And they're just the best. I love them so much. And my husband is so supportive. So it's a family business. I do everything, most of it. But everybody helps a lot. And I have a couple guys that help in the boochery, we call it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I have I'm going to start calling that. There's a little, like an area in our kitchen where all my Booch stuff and like where all the fermenting takes place. I'm going to start calling that the Boochery.
Cool. Yeah, I love it.
It's probably going to be like, hey, we need to clean up the Boochery because it's always a mess. There's always something going on over there that probably shouldn't be. But okay, well, so how did your love of fermentation start?
It started right out of college. I got my undergrad degree in chemistry.
Ooh.
I thought I wanted to be a dentist. That stopped quickly after 4 years of undergrad and lots of debt already.
Yeah, I feel that.
So I went to school in California and I was driving back home. And we were driving through Caldwell, the wine country of Idaho back then. And we happened to stop into St. Chapelle. And we were talking to the lady in the tasting room, and there was a guy in there too. And I just happened to mention, like, hey, I just got my degree in chemistry. Are you guys hiring? And the winemaker said, yeah, ours quit 2 weeks ago. Wow. Send me your resume. And that was in 2007. So it was like recession. A lot of my friends couldn't find jobs. But I got a job like the next week, like a really cool job.
Wow.
So I was the enologist in St. Chapelle. So I tracked the fermentations. I did all the science of the wine for like almost 7 years, I think. So that's how I kind of fell in love with fermentation. I got to use my degree. I got to play with wine and
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was so fun.
So talk to us a little bit for the person who's listening, who's like, fermentation, I don't know, like that sounds like rotting stuff. Describe for us, in kind of layman's terms, like what is fermentation in the short? Like what is it basically?
Kind of the high level explanation is turning sugars into alcohol.
Okay.
But it can be fermenting veggies. Like kombucha is not alcohol in the end. There's a little bit, but in normal NA kombucha, the sugars are fermented into other things like acids, and that's where you get the probiotics from,
right?
The good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think about like with kimchi, like people aren't thinking about getting drunk on kimchi,
right?
Obviously, but is it microbe dependent? Like, is it so like when let's say you're making kimchi, you're going to use the same microbes for kimchi as you are for kombucha?
It's a little bit different. So kombucha, you use like the mother, the SCOBY.
Right.
It stands for symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, as I'm sure you know. So yeah, that's what we use for kombucha.
Yeah. Okay. So when did you obviously were doing it for your job and you were doing it with wine. So when did you make the adjustment and I was going to say just to kombucha, but I'm wondering if you're in general, are you just a fermenter in general, or do you really kind of focus on kombucha?
Mainly kombucha. When I was at the winery, it was like a couple years since I'd been there, I started hearing about kombucha because it was still pretty new back in like 2010,
right?
Maybe. So my aunt in Utah, she's like this hippie aunt. Hey, Aunt Jean. She is awesome, but she had been making kombucha at home. So one of the times we went down there, she sent me home with my own SCOBY. And that was my first one. So then I started making kombucha at home. I did it for years, and then I kind of took a break, gave one of the daughters to my mom. She made kombucha, and then when I was ready to pick it back up again after a year or so, I got it back from her. So it's like this whole lineage of SCOBYs through the women in my family.
SCOBY sharing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about SCOBYs for a second, in case, again, for I'm imagining our listener who isn't entirely sure about this whole process. So SCOBYs are, to me, fascinating. Just like how they feel and what they look like and how they grow, and like it reminds me a lot. It's going to sound really bizarre, but it reminds me a lot of skin, the way that it looks and feels. And but I can spend hours with SCOBY.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
playing with it.
They're so cool. They gross so many people out because I have a jar of them at the Boochery.
Yeah.
And other people was like, "What is that?" I was like, "Well, that's where the magic happens. That's what you're drinking."
It's so true. It's very strange stuff. I also have, because I don't want to throw them away, and I keep like hoping like everything that people in my life will be like, I want to learn how, and I'll be like, I've got SCOBY for you. But not one person has asked for a SCOBY yet.
Boo.
I think that people think it's weird. It's not weird.
It's not
Validate
weird.
the fact that it's not weird. Okay, so there are enormous health benefits to kombucha. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So aside from the probiotics, like really, really good for your gut, which we all know by now, gut health is so important. The base is tea. It's usually black tea. Some people use a blend of black and green tea. So you're getting all the benefits from the tea also, which high in antioxidants, good for your skin. It just goes on and on. Yeah, I think it's a really fun drink to drink when you don't want alcohol, or now when you do want alcohol and you still want to be healthy-ish.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. So it's all kind of surrounding kombucha, the new tap room that you've created. But it seems to be more than that. It seems to be more of like a community building. Like it's not just, hey, come grab some kombucha. So can you tell us a little bit about the tap room and what your vision was for that?
Yeah, I have always been interested in bringing people together and like a neighborhood, very welcoming environment, making people feel like they're at home or like a really good friend's home. They always feel welcome. When I worked at the winery, I used to sneak over to the tasting room whenever I could and help people, pour them drinks, pour them taste, and talk about the wine. And that was one of my favorite parts of the job. So being able to put the two together, my love of fermentation and my love of bringing people together and teaching them about this drink that I made and I love and I'm so proud of, is really special. And one of the most special things about the tap room is like people come in sometimes by themselves, sometimes with their friends, and before you know it, like you're talking to everybody there if you want. And like now we have this group of friends that go out to eat together for like international meals. They're going through all the international restaurants in Boise. And it's just so fun.
That's
like
really
people,
cool.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds to me, not to be cheesy, but it's like the personification of kombucha. Because you're bringing together these microbes and they come together and they sort of like, with a little help of mother, they sort of like.
I love that. Yes.
What you need are like, I need to come visit, but really, really big, like skin-like squishy cushions that everybody's sitting on. Yeah. Then complete the picture.
Scoby cushions.
Exactly.
Oh, how funny.
Exactly. What are some of, because I know that you're doing events and things like that here, right? Like your particular. So what are some of your favorite things that are taking place at the tap room?
So Friday nights we have trivia, and it's one of our Booch tenders' fiance who's just like, hey, I'm interested in putting on trivia. Like it sounds really fun. We have a really good group that comes on Fridays. So she does that just on her own, and it's just so fun. And then we do some other kind of funny events. If you have seen our Instagram, you might have seen the hobby horse derby.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that.
It's actually my mother-in-law's idea. But as soon as I heard it, I was like, we have to do this. So we did it on the Kentucky Derby Day. Do you know what hobby horses are?
Well, I'm assuming they're like the little like rocking horses as a kid.
They're like stick horses.
Oh
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. Now it's changed completely. Oh my gosh. So you are like, you're riding a stick pony.
Yes. So we set up a whole course. We had the 3 like competitions. We had the show jumping, the dressage, and the sprint. It was epic. It was so much fun. Just like so many laughs, so much good positive energy, just people having fun.
Oh my gosh.
We got so much hate on it on the internet, which whatever.
Really?
People are going to hate. Yeah. From behind their computers. But
right.
I'm like, sorry, you're not having as much fun as us. But
I think it's fabulous.
It was so fun. Yeah.
Oh man, that's wonderful. I'm sorry I missed that one, but I'm assuming that you'll have it again.
Oh yeah, we've got many requests to do it again. Yes, we will. We will be having the hobby horse derby again.
That is so great.
Yeah,
that is so great. So I know that they're like a lot of times people when they hear that I'm drinking kombucha, they'll be like, you're like in the middle of the day. They're like, it has alcohol in it, and so how do you balance that? Because you do have alcoholic versions that you're serving, but you also have the non-alcoholic. So
right.
how do you balance that, like the alcohol side of things, and then like the wellness parts of things? How does that work?
Well, so I have the non-alcoholic legally has less than 0.5% of alcohol. So it's like as much as orange juice.
Okay.
Any natural fruit juice that's not, I guess, I guess it's pasteurized. I don't know
Right.
if orange is pasteurized.
But I think if you leave it, I
Yeah.
certainly have turned orange juice
Right,
into
exactly.
alcohol in my refrigerator
Yeah.
before.
So orange juice like naturally has some alcohol too. It's not that big a deal.
Right.
So you drink the non-alcoholic when you don't want alcohol, and the boozy when you want to drink with friends.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, like, you can come and have like a flight if you want and mix it up, have like alcoholic and non-alcoholic, a pint. You can mix half and half. Like, my favorite combo right now is our NA coconut lime and our hard pineapple margarita.
Oh.
It's like a little pina colada. It's just so good, and less ABV.
Okay.
Because most of mine are 7. I have a couple that are 10s.
Okay.
But yeah, the possibilities are endless.
What are some of the flavors? What? Because those sound amazing. What you just, the two that you just mentioned.
Oh yeah, I change them a lot. I have my like basic ones that are always going to be around. So for hard, lemon honey mint will always be around. Bourbon barrel peach, which is one of our 10%ers. Blackberry julep. So this is another one we made last year for the Derby weekend for the Boise Farmers Market, and it was so popular that everybody got mad at us when we didn't have it, and so it's been on the menu ever since.
That's a great sign, by the way, when your customers are like, okay, need to do this.
Yeah. Strawberry lemon, like I said, pineapple margarita, raspberry lemonade. I have right now huckleberry sage.
I mean, these all sound amazing. Do you just dream them up yourself, or do you?
Most of them, yeah. I have recommendations from people.
Okay.
And if they say like, hey, try this, I'll be like, ooh, that sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is like, I have a list, an ongoing list that is just really fun to play with.
Yeah.
And I make it like each keg at a time. So I have a batch of we call it naked booch.
Right.
That I just, when it's time to make more, I just add the fruit juice or whatever and go for it.
Create it from there. So I do a little of that too. My husband will, like, we went on a vacation one time and there was this wonderful like blue spirulina coconut, and I'm like, I can figure this. I can re-engineer this and create it. Now I did. What I can't get is the spirulina to stay suspended so that it stays blue. So I don't know whether they're using additives or something, and if so, I don't want to do it anyway. But like you do kind of get to the bottom and you have a sludge of blue spirulina.
Yeah. I made a blue, I made a Bronco Booch during football season last year, and it was lemon honey mint, but I overdid the mint a little bit.
Oh.
And so people were drinking this blue drink, and they're like, it's a little minty. It kind of tastes like toothpaste or like mouthwash. Like, oops, sorry.
I see you're doing what I would love to be doing with my own booch. Like, I just have my husband. My daughter won't touch it. She has. I shouldn't say that. She's tried it several times, but it's a little too intense for her. But my husband's like, I just make it for him, and he'll drink anything. So I don't feel like I'm like everything he makes it. Sure, whatever, I'll drink it.
Yeah.
He's fine with it. So I'm like, but is it good?
Yeah.
Like, does it taste good? And he'll be like, it's fine, it's good, whatever.
Yeah.
Like
What's your favorite flavors?
I do like the coconut one with the blue spirulina. That's a one. But my very favorite, and there are several varieties in the valley. I haven't actually made it yet myself. Is anything that's like mojito, because I do like that mint.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the lime part of it. But the balancing that is, I've not been that successful in my own kitchen doing that. But there are a few that I downright crave. That's my very favorite one. But I'm to the point now where I even like the really intense, like sometimes there's really medicinal ones. There are certain brands that you're like, if people are like, I'm going to try kombucha, I'm like, well, don't start here because you're not going to like it. I guarantee it. But once you've kind of built your palate up my body craves it. Like I'm like, I need to have a kombucha. And so sometimes I'll reach for the more medicinal ones, and I'll and I even enjoy it now. Dare I say, I'm like, I even enjoy the medicinal taste of some of them. And when I say medicinal, I don't mean like, drug medicinal. I mean, it literally tastes, they're herbs that taste a little bit stronger and, but I feel like they're doing something.
They are, yeah. And get that little kick of B vitamins.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
all
good.
of it. It's really great. So, I'm fascinated with the whole fermentation process and patience that's required. And there is a little instinct. Like there is a little part of like once you've made enough of it, you kind of know when it's turning and when you're like, okay, this is a good time to pull it. So you sort of figure those things out. But in the beginning, I think there's a lot of instinct that you have to kind of, apply and be like, okay, I think we're there and we're going to go with this. And offset it with this or whatever. So there's a little bit of, I mean, a lot of chemistry, obviously. I love it that you're a chemist. It's awesome. Or that you are a chemist. But how is that approach? How is that, like, the fact that you have this very patient tendency to be able to do these things with the kombucha, how does that affect you as a businesswoman? Has that shaped how you, like, do you take on business the same way that you take on kombucha?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's a detriment or not, but I've always been like a little bit of a passive person. So that's kind of how I knew that I was going for it. Is like, I didn't give up. When I first had this idea, I'm like, no, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. And it was like kind of the first time in my life where I really went for it and like put in the hard work, cried a lot, picked myself back up and kept going. And I'm like, okay, something is telling me, like, I just got, like, you know, nudges from the universe, little signs, like, no, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. So that taught me a lot of patience too.
Yeah.
With the kombucha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is being a female business owner in this community?
Oh, it's great. I'm so empowered by so many other women business owners, and I've met so many incredible ones that it's, oh man, it's so fun.
That's
you just
awesome.
like have this bond with the other women. It's pretty cool.
I have found the same thing. It's amazing to me. There's just support there.
Yeah.
I think people are like, we lean into one another, like, oh, you're doing this, I'm doing this. There's no competition. It's just a support system that I've found to be, and I don't know if that's unique to Boise. Maybe that's how society is doing now across the world, but I suspect there might be something special here in the Boise Valley that particularly as women leaders, we are willing to talk to one another. There's something there that's happening that I think is pretty unique and
I think so too.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
Well, I love hearing that.
Yeah. And there's so many women that are, like, so eager to help. It's like, I'm not good at asking for help, but these women are just like, you need anything, you let me know. Like, let's talk about struggles and triumphs and everything. And it's like, we're supporting each other. It's cheering for each other. It's awesome.
It's so great.
Yeah.
I think that is definitely a shift that has happened more recently.
Yeah.
That women have been willing to, you know, to support one another. And I think also there's this like celebration of women in particular leading and running businesses that is a little bit newer because, you know, so I'm glad that we're a part of it. I'm glad that we get to be a part of it. And I thank so much the women before us who did not have that and who struggled and in some ways, you know, I've said this before, because I was taught leadership by men. It was all men, and everybody who led Zamzos before me have all been men. And so I that's where I learned. And for the first little bit as a leader, I was hell on wheels because I was trying to be aggressive and what I thought I needed to be. I needed to be more like a man in order to survive it. And I laugh about it now. In fact, Mel will be the first person. We have a mutual friend, and she used to work under me when I was the prior me, and she'll still tease me to this day, and call me boss hole. Which is now just like a term of endearment because I know that was a phase I'm in and I was in, and I can laugh about it now, especially because I've embraced this other side and realized, oh, I'm a much better leader when I'm not trying to wrestle everything.
Yeah, when you're being authentic to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy, I love these conversations with other women. It's just, it's my favorite.
Yeah. In fact, I have a sign so my bathroom is kind of like dedicated to strong women. So I have like pictures in the bathroom of women doing like cool stuff. And then a sign on it that says like, behind every great woman is another great woman. Or woman, whatever. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many women that came before us that we owe so much to.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Agreed. Yes, exactly. So how do you know because you're kind of a mad scientist, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you know when you've got a flavor that's ready to go public? Like, do you just roll it out and see what people think and just, yeah?
Yeah. Basically, if I'm happy with it, then I will serve it.
Have there ever been one that wasn't received where you're like, this is the greatest thing ever, and people are like, not so much? Has that ever happened?
Not yet.
Okay.
Knock on wood. I don't think so. Yeah, thanks.
You've got a good palate.
I think so. I mean, there'll always be the outliers of people that don't like it, but
Well, yeah.
that's fine. You're not going to please everybody. That's fine with
and
me.
if there are any new kombuchas people out there that are like, okay, I'm going to go get some, there really are varying degrees. So if you try the first one and you don't like it, don't just trust that maybe you went with something a little too strong, or maybe it wasn't quite in the category that's going to be your taste. It's like anything. Like, you might taste, if you just tasted one wine and you didn't like that one, you say, I don't like any wines.
Right.
No, obviously you taste them, and that's very much so how it is with kombucha.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I kind of have worked my business model like we're like the starter kombucha or gateway kombucha, if you will. We make it a little bit more fruit forward, a little less bitey. So yeah, if you haven't tried
helps.
kombucha, try some Boise Booch.
Yeah, and it's literally a tasting room, so they can come in and try little bits and taste this one and that one and kind of decide where they can land. Yep. And the driving force, I think, in the very beginning is the health benefits. So it is worth it to incorporate it into your lifestyle, because it's good for your gut.
Yeah,
which is good for everything.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So are there any flavors that you would like to try to incorporate into your line that you haven't yet? Like, have you done any thoughts on future experimentation? Or are there things that or different types? Because there are different types of kombucha. Have you thought about going a little different direction, or?
Not at this time. I definitely want to down the road. But as for, like you were talking about the medicinal flavors, I went to my friend's house. She has an amazing garden, and she served us, holy basil and lemon balm tea, just like iced tea. It was very light. It was the most refreshing thing I think I've ever had. So I think it'd be so fun to play with, that combo.
I would drink that.
And I did and so that inspired me to do I've always loved pineapple basil together. So I did a pineapple and holy basil one, and then NA, and then the hard blood orange and holy basil. But then unfortunately I used all my holy basil stock. So then I had to switch back to regular basil, and it was not quite as good.
Yeah.
Just that holy basil is so good.
It is good. I agree. Yeah, that's good stuff. What has surprised you about the ways that people in Boise have shown up to support local businesses here?
Ooh, I have been so impressed and humbled. A lot of our customers are just regulars. They're the people coming in every week, sometimes multiple times a week, and they're like our friends now, and it's so cool. I'm the place you're choosing to hang out. Well, not I'm the place, but my place. I built this.
Yeah.
And it just makes me even more proud. And especially everybody who comes in is such a cool person. They're so kind and so giving and so nice. And I just feel like that's the kind of person that we're attracting.
Yeah.
And I grew up here, and that's the Boise I remember.
Yeah. I agree.
There's a few people that aren't like that, but for the majority, Boise is a kind place, and I love the people here. And so I love getting to meet more people and spend more time with them.
Well, kombucha, it changes you at a gut level because of those microbes. Maybe what happens is you're just creating these wonderful people, and they come in.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
One person at a time. I recently experimented with June kombucha, Jun.
Yes. Okay.
Part of my problem was that I lost track of time, and I didn't quite catch it when it was done, and so it still sits. It's still sitting on my. So now I'm gonna have to start over with it basically. But that is with honey.
Yeah.
So it's totally different. It tastes a little bit different, and then it kind of processes differently. But again, I sort of jumped in the middle. I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I did it right in the middle of it was a springtime, so I had way too many things going on, and you can't be haphazard. You got to be paying attention, and I wasn't paying attention. So, but have you experimented with any other types like that? Have you ever tried to go astray? And
I haven't. You know, one time in my kitchen before I opened Boise Booch, I tried a hibiscus tea for the first ferment, and it was so beautiful. And so that's probably next on my list when I want to experiment, like make a small batch of something.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
And you're literally meaning beautiful, because it's a wonderful color, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I bet
so
it tastes
pretty.
delicious too.
Oh,
My
I bet so
gosh.
too. Yeah.
Okay, can we totally switch gears?
Oh, sure.
I know that in a prior life you were a doula, and I gave birth naturally.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about just a little bit about that life. I don't want to steer away from what you're doing currently, but I'm just curious about, what was that like? What was it like being a doula? Because that is a tremendous, in my estimation, a very difficult job, because you're on call like 24/7 for your clients. So whenever their baby decides that when they're ready, it's time. And so if it's 2:00 in the morning, you're getting a call and you're going. And so can you kind of explain what a doula is and sort of what you did?
Yeah. So a doula is like a childbirth coach, I want to say. And it was magical. Like I became a doula after my first son was born, because my good friend was our doula. And I hired her mostly for my husband, because you never know how you're going to react either, especially for your first one. But she was such good help. She helped both of us through. It was not a terrible labor. It was like 12 hours, but she was there for me. She did all the prep work, like getting us ready, prepared, talking about my birth wishes, preferences, what to expect, kind of.
Yeah, kind of is right.
Yeah.
I think it'll tell you so much.
Yeah, right. You never know. But birth is such like a transformational experience, and becoming a mother is just so special. So to be a part of that, it was just, and then having like the pregnant person choose me to be at their birth is just so special. And then seeing babies born, it was amazing, but it was very hard, because I did have a little baby / toddler the whole time. And he still like nursed a lot. So sometimes I had to like excuse myself to go pump during the birth, because you could be at the birth for 2 hours. You could be there for 36 hours. Mm-hmm. So it was really hard. And then I stopped when I was very pregnant with my second, and then COVID hit. So at that first part of COVID, we weren't allowed in the hospitals. So it was kind of forced out.
Yeah.
But it'll always hold a very special place to my heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Extraordinary work.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, speaking of amazing things, it's time for me to kind of mention our sponsors, who are extraordinary. We really appreciate them. So this episode is brought to you by Zamzows, your go-to for all things garden, pet, and planet. From compost to kombucha-friendly herbs, we've got you covered. To learn more about how Zamzows can help grow your vision, please visit zamzows.com or a convenient Treasure Valley location, any of the 12 that we have.
Nobody knows like Zamzows.
I have a few little rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready for this?
Oh, gosh. Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, first question. What is a song that is fueling your creative energy right now?
Ooh. I listen to audiobooks more.
Ooh.
Plug in, listen to books.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's so funny, because my husband and we always say read, and then we put like air quotes, because we feel like we're cheating. Yeah. I'm reading this book right now. But there's a very different experience when you're listening to a book versus when you're reading it, and you can get other things done at the same time. And I love the chance to learn something while you're also doing something else. That's great. So what's on audiobook right now? What are you,
I switch between like personal development books or personal growth, and just like, Hallmarky, but like I love Catherine Center. Colleen Hoover is always good. What else?
Well, that's lovely.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit like me. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's how we were raised, but I feel like I'm allowed to have a certain amount of enjoyment, and then I also have to learn.
Yes.
You've got to balance it, Callie. This is how it works. Okay. Well, how about a favorite Booch flavor that you've brewed, or maybe one that you flopped?
Oh,
Either or.
probably the toothpaste one.
Yeah.
It was great in theory, but
Toothpaste. That cracks me up.
it's just a little minty.
Oh, and I love the honesty of your tasters, that they're like, it tastes like toothpaste. Like, that's awesome. What great feedback.
Yes. Also, at the beginning, I learned about this thing called diacetyl, which if you're a brewer or know anything about yeast, I know a lot about yeast actually, because I didn't know about it.
Okay.
But it's a byproduct of fermentation. So the yeast produce diacetyl late in the fermentation, and then they eat it back up if you give it time.
Interesting.
So I think I figured it out by now, but in the end result, it would create like this not ideal aftertaste, in my opinion, like buttered popcorn.
Oh, I know that taste.
Oh,
I do know what that tastes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people call it like mousy too. It can get mousy.
Oh.
Luckily, I never had it taste like mousy, but
That sounds very unpleasant. Buttered popcorn's a little better, I think.
so we had one batch of our pineapple margarita, not just one actually, but it got so bad, and it gets worse over time. Oh, and there's only 1% of the population that can taste it. So
Interesting.
not everybody.
Okay.
So it would be like a fun experiment, like, hey, what do you think of this? And they'd be like, oh, that's really good. And then someone would be like, oh, that's really good. Oh, what's that?
What's going on here?
So then we would serve it with tahini popcorn to be like,
Oh.
and it was kind of like this fun pairing. And like most people loved it. They didn't even mind the aftertaste because it's not harmful at all.
Right.
It's just like naturally occurring.
Wow.
It's kind of a flop, but
You're so creative.
we're trying.
I love it.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Okay, one more. How about a quote or a mantra that keeps you going?
I want to put this on. Okay, so if you've been to the Boochery, we are like bordering the big gas tanks. You know, like the big ugly white tanks full of gas on
Sure.
Curtis.
I grew up around there.
And we have a chain link fence between us and like a big parking lot, sort of. So I want to make a, what do you call it? Big picture with them.
A mural of some
mural,
sort. Yeah,
thank you.
I'm with you.
And on that, I want to put scatter joy and see what blooms. I just love that. It's like you can change people's lives. Like you don't have to go big, 1% at a time. Just like be happy, be nice, be kind. And then you never know what waterfall effect that'll have.
That's true.
So scatter joy and see what blooms.
Speaking of making things bloom, the Zamzo's tip of the week is about roses. And it comes to you from a question that I got from my friend Kit not too long ago. And she was asking me about her rose. She has a rose bush that she has had now for about 6 years. And she said it just isn't doing well this year. And we started down kind of the general questions about watering and at the end, what we ultimately landed on was the fact that she had not fed her roses. And I realized as I was walking around my neighborhood this week that people have not been feeding their roses. So remember that roses are very heavy feeders. They want to have food. We recommend doing a natural food that is going to break down and make the soil healthier. So we're not big fans of doing chemical foods in the form of fertilizers. We like to feed roses. So ideally, that's the way that you would do it. But you can just feed them in some sort of a form. But your roses they're asking you. I'm telling you on their behalf that they're hungry. So make sure to feed your roses. Do all the things you're supposed to do. Make sure that you're deadheading them, taking off the old roses so that they can use that energy for other things. But I think if you do that now, you'll find that your roses this fall will look beautiful.
Nobody knows like Zamzows.
Okay, this is the time in the show where we ask the same question of all of our guests, and it goes along with the Zamzows jingle of nobody knows like Zamzows. But this is just straight up a nobody knows question. So I'm wondering, in your life, in your world, something that you could tell us that nobody knows.
Some people know. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so my original initials are KEG, Keg.
That's so perfect.
My nickname was Keg in high school. And now
That's incredible.
I work with kegs.
Oh,
It's kind of a fun.
that actually kind of gives me goosebumps here. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how that turns? Like, have you ever noticed like that sometimes people, I don't know, like you'll meet this is a perfect example. Our accountant's last name is Million. I'm like,
what a brilliant job
Randy
for
Million
him.
is his name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't ever want another accountant in my life. Like, he's the perfect accountant. Like, it's hopeful. It's wishful thinking, but still,
Yeah,
it's like,
awesome.
that's what you need, right?
Uh-huh. You want to collaborate? I want you to help me brew a flavor.
Oh my gosh, I would be so honored.
Can we do that?
I would love to.
Okay.
Like, love to. Yes.
I would
I'm
love
all
that too.
in.
Okay.
I'm all in for that.
Start thinking.
Okay, I
Okay.
will. Wow, I feel so honored. I feel like a cool kid all of a sudden. Thank you. Thank you for being here today.
you.
This has been a lovely conversation. I'm so excited about what you're doing, and I hope that people will come to your tasting room and check it out.
Me too.
And so thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So we've got more inspiring stories coming your way from leaders and makers and voices that you might know and you may not know, but you should. So join us next time, and we'll chat soon.